In 5 minutes of tefillah, and yesterday we started to discuss what does it mean eternity. What is nitzchias? As Rav Shimshon Pincus began this chapter by teaching us that the hakdama to tefillah and to all service of Hashem is to understand to whom we are talking, to start to comprehend, to contemplate what is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How is that Kadosh Baruch Hu? Who is God? What is God? To start to begin the thought process of this entity called the creator of the world that we have the privilege and the pleasure to talking to daily. And yesterday, the example of the bird that takes the dot of dirt from this massive mountain, and he takes a dot of dirt every 1,000 years. Says Rav Shimshon Pincus, how many years is it going to take to deplete the whole mountain? Trillions upon trillions of years. Is that called eternity? Absolutely not. What do you mean? It's going to take trillions. Exactly. Trillions it will take, but it's not eternity. When we have to think of the reward of punishment, we have to think, what does it mean that Hashem is eternal? It means it's forever, and there's no end to that. So we have to comprehend, what does it mean, 1 ounce of reward in the next world? It means eternal. That every ounce, every moment is forever, both in quality and in quantity. And he continues in this chapter and he teaches us that this is the obligation upon each and every one of us to understand whom is God and to know who we are talking. And he says, you know, when we do this, when do we have time to sit and comprehend the greatness, the depth, the eternal qualities of our Creator? The Iker Zman is when we daven. Because before we daven, and during our tefillos, and while we're davening, are the times that we have to realize, what are all the praises that I am saying? To whom are all these praises that I'm saying? And with that, he continues to explain a little bit, what is the godless, what is the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he says, I'll tell you another very simple mashal. He says, if we were to tell you that a little bug is going to receive reward for eternity, what would that mean? What that mean is that the bug would receive pleasure, and the pleasure would automatically make this bug change into a different entity. It would turn into a bird, and then it would turn into an animal, then it would turn into a human being, then it would turn into an angel, then it would turn into a higher level angel, a saraf, and further, because with each ounce of eternal pleasure, of eternal benefit that this entity is getting, it's going to grow and become greater and deeper and larger. And that, with this, he explains an incredible pasuk. The pasuk teaches us, then in Olam Haba Lasid Lavai, Yimale, it will be filled, Schaik Pinu. Our mouth will be filled with schaik, with laughter. What does it mean our mouth will be filled with laughter? Says the Shimshon Pincus, there's something called simcha, happiness, and there's something called schaik, laughter. When you hear incredible news, what's the first thing you do? You laugh. When you're so filled with joy, when you're so filled with pleasure, it literally evokes laughter. After the laughter subsides, then comes the stage of simcha, of joy, of bliss, of happiness. You know what eternity, when it comes to reward, is? You know what it means that Lasid Lavai in the future, our mouths will be filled with what? Not with simcha, with schaik, with laughter. Because each and every moment will be as if it's that first moment that you heard about that great news. Because the hischadshus, the newness of hearing how incredible such a thing just happened, how amazing that you start laughing, that newness, that freshness will be each and every second for eternity. That's what it means. There'll be pleasure forever and ever. That's eternal reward. And that's a little bit of the explanation how God Himself, both in quantity and in quality and in depth, is eternal. It doesn't just mean for trillions of years and beyond. It doesn't just mean the pleasure which goes on and on and on and never ends. It means both of those together with the element that each moment is the first and greatest and most fresh moment, which brings the laughter. And the time of tefillah is the time to focus on this, to whom we're thanking and praising and talking to. And he concludes and he says, this is why we daven multiple times a day. Because the first time you daven, you get filled with this incredible joy. And now you fear God. And now you understand how to honor Hashem. But then over the next few hours, slowly it subsides and you land down to earth. And then you daven again. You connect Hashem again, realizing his eternal greatness, the pleasure that we'll get for eternity. Siyata Dishmaya.